S550 startups are so loud, but once the RPMs go down a little bit, it sounds so good. Good morning, everyone. Hope all of you are having a great day today. And it is a beautiful day in the Chicago area. It's the hottest day so far. It's officially summer. And my Mustang says it's 89 degrees right now. So I just left my office and I worked a half day today. And I've had my Stainless Works long tube headers on my 2020 Mustang GT for about 3 weeks now. In today's video, I'm going to go over my experience with the long tube headers and go over if it's actually worth it. In my previous video, I went over all the mods I purchased so far in the last 6 months of ownership of my Mustang GT. Total, it was around $5,000, but about half of it was spent on my long tube headers and the $900 installation of the headers. Today's video, I'm going to go over if I think it is worth getting long tube headers for your S550 or S650 Mustang GT. And I'll go over everything I noticed different once I got the install and then the tune a week after. And before we get started, we'll do a quick walk around on my Mustang GT. I guess it's 6 months. I couldn't be any happier with my 2020 Mustang GT. I went over all the mods in my previous 2 videos. Honestly, all the mods I've done in the last 6 months, take a look at those. 2 most recent mods I got done to my car was this beautiful front lip and my GT500 side skirts. This front lip has these winglets on the side, and honestly, it looks awesome. I am lowered on iBox Sportline lowering springs, and with that, the front lip makes my car look that much lower, which it looks super aggressive. And I know these GT500 side skirts are really popular, but honestly, I'm so happy I got them. It really put my car together nicely. And those cicadas are so loud, it's ridiculous right now. I almost can't even hear myself. And it's louder than my exhaust almost. So the one aero piece I don't have is a rear diffuser on my Mustang GT. I love the side skirts and the front lip. If you guys know of a rear diffuser or a rear valence that would go well with my aero setup so far, please let me know down below. There's a couple I'm looking at. I saw the RTR one, which looks pretty good, and a GT500 styling one that looks good too, but I'm not 100% which one I should go with. So if you have any recommendations, please leave a comment or leave a link down below, and I'll definitely check it out. Today's video, like I said, I'm going to go over my experience getting my long tube headers installed, how it felt initially getting it installed without the tune, and then I got tuned a week later after installation. And the first thing I noticed, obviously, was the sound. And I planned my whole exhaust setup here. Right now, I have the Ford Performance Active exhaust. I wanted to keep that in my exhaust setup. I also have an SR Performance X pipe with my Stainless Works long tube headers. In my opinion, this is my ideal setup. It sounds so good. It's not obnoxiously loud like a lot of Mustang owners I know. I don't know, like now that I'm getting a bit older, I want my Mustang and my cars in general to have a nice refined tone. I don't want it to be quiet, but I don't want it to be obnoxiously loud all the time. There's a lot of Mustang owners I know that have their car pretty much straight piped, no cats, no resonators, just straight pipe all the way through, and it's honestly gets to a point where it's almost too loud. And with the setup I have right now, my car screams when I get on it, and honestly in track mode it sounds great. There's zero drone, it has a perfect exhaust note, and honestly when I want it to be quiet I can put it in quiet mode. If I have my wife in the car or my puppy who's really sensitive to sounds, having the active exhaust was a must for me. And when I want to get on, I put on track mode. When I accelerate and really get on it, my car screams and it sounds absolutely perfect. So the first thing I noticed leaving the shop when I got my long tube headers installed was the throttle response. And it definitely felt a lot more aggressive. Leaving the shop, it felt like I had more low-end torque initially. I got these installed, I was driving home in some traffic. My throttle was definitely more responsive. It had to be because of more low-end torque. It really made my car more fun driving locally, and I also took the highway home that day as well. And the one thing I noticed too, and this was without a tune, I had really good linear power. I mean, I am naturally aspirated, but I had more power, it felt like, in every gear. Shifting first to second, second to third. I had so much power when I was shifting, and that shows how restrictive the stock exhaust, stock headers are compared to the aftermarket ones. One thing I did notice right away is my car is definitely more free-flowing right now with my long tube headers. So my car felt phenomenal that very first week without the tune, just with the header install. The whole first week I was thinking, this is how the car should have felt from factory. And don't get me wrong, the Mustang, S550 Mustang GTs, they feel awesome from factory. They have good torque, good horsepower, and a good power band overall. But having such a restrictive stock exhaust really limits the potential of the car. So a week after I got my long tube headers installed, got the tune, didn't think it was gonna make that big of a difference, but man, I was wrong. It made such a big difference getting that tune. Not just having more power, lower and high end, and a really nice linear power band, but it made shifting so much better. A common criticism of the S550 Mustang, especially manual transmission, is the shifter. A lot of people don't like it because it's not the best shifting. You gotta be careful shifting fast. And the one thing I did prior to my header and tune was get a really heavy shift knob. And just doing that made shifting a lot better. It made it so I was in gear, I wasn't grinding, and it made my shift so much faster. And something that helped as well is I made my shifter a little bit taller, so it made it so my throws were really exact. And I'll show you guys that right now. So I got this adapter right here to put on my custom racing shift knob. And with the stock shifter, it would usually be down here. It's really low. And having this higher up, having a really heavy shift knob, having it top heavy, made shifting so much better in this car. And I was surprised how big of a difference it made. And I do not have a short shifter right now, but that is something I do want to get in the future, or get a whole new shifter completely, like a nice Hirsch shifter, make it really notchy. But honestly, right now, I can't complain with this setup because it made shifting so much better compared to stock. When I did my data logs and eventually got my final tune with my long tube headers, my car felt like a completely different car. Like I said, the shifting was a lot smoother. My power band felt so much better, so much more refined. And honestly, my car felt faster all around. I guess that is really common getting long tube headers for the car. And the reason I wanted to make this video right now is give you guys my experience with my long tube headers is because I am getting tuned on E85 in a couple days. From what I've heard, E85 on these Coyote engines makes a huge difference in power, which I'm really excited for. And I wanted to document how my car felt just with the long tube headers by itself before and after I get E85. And keep in mind, I did not put my car on a dyno yet, but my car roughly should be maybe around 450 wheel horsepower. Most NA S550 Mustangs or even S650 Mustangs that do header and E85 get to around 500 wheel horsepower, roughly 500 wheel horsepower. So I'm guessing I'm around 450, 460, and E85 should bring me up to around 500. The first time I went on the highway with this tune and the long tube headers, I felt like I was in a completely different car. Sound from the header sounds amazing, but how it felt shifting from second, third, fourth gear, I felt like I had so much more power all around. And that shows how restrictive the stock headers, stock muffler, stock resonator is from factory. And it shows how much potential these Coyote engines have. The day I got the tune, I drove so much that day. And I did a night cruise. I was just cruising on the highway for a couple hours, enjoying my car. Honestly, that's something I love doing. I work from home and I don't drive as much as I want to. And some days I just want to cruise around, clear my head, and really enjoy my car. And I'm planning to stay naturally aspirated for a while. Eventually I am gonna go supercharged, I'm gonna go forced induction, but as of right now I wanna enjoy my car naturally aspirated. I wanna feel how my car feels with the long tube headers, with all the other mods, E85 tuned, because the car feels great, it has more than enough power, it sounds great, feels great, and love how the S550 Mustangs look on the outside. I'm still in the honeymoon phase of owning this car. I've only owned it for 6 months, but I feel like the mods I've done so far have been tasteful overall, and I have so many big plans for this car, cosmetic, power-wise, that I'm excited to share with all of you. It sounds so good. hopefully I wasn't rambling on too much about this. It's Tuesday today. This upcoming Friday I have a paint correction. I will make a video doing that. Then about 2 or maybe 3 days after that, I'm getting tuned on E85, which I am really excited about. Everyone I've talked to that's been naturally aspirated, with or without long tube headers, that E85 made a huge difference on how their car felt. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. So please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a comment down below what you guys think of my Mustang so far. Like I said, a lot of big things coming in the near future, and I couldn't be any happier with this car. And remember, I do respond back to every single comment I get. Peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.